friends, it's Paige Evans and I'm so excited to walk you through my December daily for 2022. These are the cute charms that I got from Emily Inspired Designs. My album is about 6 inches across and it is round, so all the pages are round. And before we delve in, I want to show you just really quick that I love embroidered covers. So this is for 2022. This is my December daily album for 2018, and I have a walkthrough of all of these in my December daily playlist. So this is when I became obsessed with doing cross-stitching embroidery for my December daily covers. More Charms by Emily Inspired Designs. And then for 2020, I hand-stitched through one of my pattern papers in my Go the Scenic Route collection, and you guessed it, more charms and tassels from Emily Inspired Designs. Another walkthrough of this one in my playlist. And then my December daily for last year is 6x8, and I just love this cover so much. It's a cross-stitch pattern based on one of my cut files, and then more tassels. It's 6x8 in size, so it's the traditional size, but it's out of the pocket. So there are a couple pocket pages, but most of it is out of the pocket, featuring my cut files for last year. So for me, deciding on the style of the album is always what takes the longest, because I like doing something different every year. I've also done a memory decks tray with cards for every day in December, and I've done a Coptic book. You can see all of them in my playlist. This is my 10th year of doing a December daily. Now, once I decided that I wanted it to be round, I ordered some fabric from Amazon, and it has 6 different colors. I chose pink for the front and forest green for the back, and I'm just taking the charms off so it's a little bit easier to flip through. Aren't they so cute? Seriously, Emily makes the cutest charms. And so I used pink fabric for the front, forest green for the back. Once I finished stitching the cover, it's based on 2 patterns that I found in an Etsy shop, and I can leave links to them in the description. It took about 24 hours over the course of 2 weeks to cross-stitch the cover. And initially I wanted to do something similar for the back cover, but let's be honest, I ran out of steam. So all I did was stitch some holly berries, and I feel like that's okay. Now the cover really shines. And so I thought that by having the covers created in November, I'd be good to go, ready, all set for documenting every day in December. But then I lost my mojo, and it happens. It happens once in a while. I know that my mojo will return, but it wasn't until after Christmas that I decided to sit down and really start working. And what I did was, instead of building my pages around my photos, I made 25 foundation pages. Okay? So every one of the pages you see throughout this album was created first. I even had all of my photos printed and cut and ready to go. I wasn't feeling the Christmas spirit to scrapbook. I mean, I was feeling the Christmas spirit, but I just wasn't feeling crafty, and that's okay. My mojo did return once I finally got started working on all of the foundation pages. So I lined the covers with this pretty poinsettia paper, and on almost every page I stitched some kind of ribbon or trim to make it super textured and eclectic. This is kind of what I've been doing with all of my albums lately. And I just love the way it looks. So until I get sick of doing it, I'm gonna keep doing it. For this first page, I used a page protector, cut it into a circle. So with a page protector, it's got the front and the back. Started stitching around the edge, poured in some sequins, stitched across it, poured in more sequins, stitched across, poured in more, stitched, poured in more, and then finished stitching around. And now it's got a fun shaker pocket. For the supplies, I used a lot of the Mittens and Mistletoe collection by Crate Paper, as well as Die Cuts with a View Christmas paper pads that came out this year and the ones from last year. I also used these alphabet stickers from Doodlebug Design. I basically bought every single color that they have and used them throughout the album. And then if I didn't machine stitch ribbon around the edges, I added ribbon trim tabs so that I could still have something fun sticking out and help make turn the page easier. I just added a Mittens and Mistletoe sticker introducing what the album is about, the year 2022, layered on some Mittens and Mistletoe stickers, and then didn't do anything on the backs. And then you can really see the sequins, they move around, super fun. And I wanted the next page to not be very visible through, so you really get the look and feel of the sequins. So all I did was add modeling paste through a Nordic sweater patterned stencil, let it dry, then added a Mittens and Mistletoe die cut on top with a little bit of journaling, and once again, machine stitch ribbon. I didn't usually machine stitch the ribbon until I knew what I wanted to be on the back. So I made all the foundation pages first, and then figured out the photos, and then came in with the embellishments and all of the ribbons. So on the back of this page, you'll find all of my photos and a few on the foundation pages, but on the left side is a full 6x4" photo. This is when we decorated for the holidays. My husband set up the tree this year, and I might have him do it every year because it looked so good. All I did was add a sticker here at the bottom and at the top. These are from Mittens and Mistletoe, and I think this Deck the Halls is from a Pink Fresh Studio collection a long time ago. On this page, I used one of the die cuts with a view paper pads, cut wedges, distressed them, and stitched them onto a white cardstock circle, and then in the center added a 2" square photo. And then this page, I didn't add ribbon around the edge, so I did do the ribbon tab to help make turn it over. So I didn't want to cover up too much of this, right? I spent most of my time doing the cover and then the foundation pages, so I just embellished minimally and only added photos here and there on the foundation pages. You'll see. So on the back, I did a photo flip up. You might notice something a little funny up in the top. That is my kitty Amy. She loved climbing up and down. She's an expert climber. But by the end of Christmas, our pre-lit tree was no longer pre-lit. Somehow all of her running up and down, disconnected wires, and we just could not figure out how to make it work. So next year we'll just add lights ourselves. And then I used an assortment of alphabet stickers to write "You've cat to be kitten me, write meow." Just thought that was kind of funny. Mittens and Mistletoe stickers. This next foundation page, I did an origami flower. I'm teaching how to do this technique in my February virtual class, so I can also leave a link to that if you want to join in and see how I created this paper origami flower. This is made from one of the die cuts with the view paper pads. And then of course on some of the page edges added paper clips. Those are just from my stash, and some jingle bells. So this album even sounds like Christmas. A flower in the center, and then stitch some trim. On the back side is a 4" square photo. Fox begged and begged and begged for me to make sugar cookies, and I finally did when it was December, and then he only ate one. So typical. I knew that would happen. But he loved them, and I thought it was my best batch yet, so he's so funny. On this page, I designed a cut file so that the holes are evenly spaced, and then cut it from a piece of white textured cardstock from American Crafts, brought my needle up through the first hole, slid on sequins, pushed the needle down through this hole, came up through this hole, slid on sequins, brought it down through that hole, came up through the next hole, slid on sequins, etc. Back and forth, back and forth. So I do have a bundle of 12 cut files that I used throughout this album in case you want to use them in your December daily too. No ribbon around the edge, but I've got my ribbon tab and then a little paper clip with jingle bells. On the back side, I covered it with a patterned paper, added a round photo, and then some embellishments. For this foundation page, this is one of those techniques that I frequently use with layouts. I did teach a class, a round class, using a circle punch to make this fun scalloped border. And yeah, so what I did was take a lot of my favorite techniques from layouts and just shrunk them down to fit on these round pages. And I I just had a lot of fun making all the foundation pages. So I got 2 round photos, I stitched around the edges, and then dotted every punched circle with a little gold sticker, a little gold dot sticker, and then wrote my journaling around the photo. On the back side, I just covered it with a pattern paper. You might be able to see it's these embossed stars. Added a 4x6 photo and then trimmed to round the corners and then just added a caption. Kept it pretty basic because the next page is very fun and colorful. I used a lot of the Pink Christmas collection. It's a digital collection from Kelly Bangs Creative. And I fussy cut all of these ornaments, stitched down the page, and then added the ornaments on top with foam squares so that they've got a little bit of dimension and shadows, and then stitched this fun trim. The trims I got from Etsy. I just searched for Christmas trims or trims assortment and picked up a whole bunch to use on my future albums and this album. So on the back, I just kind of splattered my photos and then added some star stickers between, which brings us to probably my favorite foundation page. I created a scene. So I covered a circle with blue polka dot paper, which looks like falling snow, and then fussy cut these tiny images from a Die Cuts with a View paper pad, and then came in with some puffy stickers. So, I forgot the white glitter cardstock first. Those are the hills. So the blue paper, and then made the snowy hills, and then did the little embellishments. So also got a paper clip with a little jingle bell and a ribbon tab. Covered the back with a photo and some die cuts. I've got a little caption down here. This next foundation page, I trimmed 1x3 inch rectangles from a Die Cuts with a View paper pad, placed them on a circle, and then took some time to machine stitch around every piece. So it was a little bit fiddly, but I love the look of the quilt. And then stitched this crushed velvet scalloped ribbon around the edge. On the back side, I added another smattering of photos from the Downtown Littleton Candlelight Walk and Parade. And this next page, this is another cut file that I designed. It's for stitching. So it says, "We wish you a Merry Christmas" in a tree shape. Used a variety of different colored threads, all my favorite colors, all the colors. And then I didn't have the snowflakes initially, but it felt a little empty. So that's when I added the snowflakes. So you can find this as a cut file in my listing, and it's got red trim around the edge. And then on the back side, I created another flip up, and of course this one is also about my cats. And there is Amy and Sandy under the Christmas tree, and then in front of all of these colorful trees that they knocked over 17 times a day. So funny. This blue plaid paper and all of these fussy cut florals are from the Pink Christmas collection by Kelly Bangs Creative. Printed them out, fussy cut them out, and placed them in a wreath on a white cardstock page. So the center was empty, so I was able to add a little 2x2 inch photo, stitched rickrack around the edge, and then added one little jingle bell on a paper clip. On the back side, covered it with stars paper, added a round photo, and then these are from a photo play paper collection. I don't think these ones are. I just have an assortment of Christmas supplies that I've gathered throughout the years, and every December I just bring them out and try to use as much of it as possible. This foundation page, I used one of my cut files. It's called Folded Circle. So I punched squares from a Die Cuts with a View paper pad, lined them up on a sticky mat, and then my machine cut all the circles out. And I brought them to church so I could fold them while listening, and then added them onto a white cardstock circle, trimmed the excess, and then stitched around the edge with a little ribbon tab on the side. And then in the center, I just added this sentiment. I might have a process video for this technique. I think I do, but it's probably a few years old because I remember doing it in Washington, and we lived in Washington 5 years ago, so time flies. On the back, I covered it with a green paper and then made a photo flip. So I just stitched 3 photos together. One of our favorite traditions is visiting this amazingly lit up house. It's called the Gingerbread House. And then on the back side, added some stickers. It says Happy Holidays. Here is another cut file I designed, a stitching one. So I stitched these swirls to be light strands. These are actually supposed to be ornaments, but they look like white light bulbs. So I fussy cut a couple dozen of them out and then attached them with foam squares. So it's got that dimension and shadows. Ribbon trim, and then a large jingle bell. So this page is really loud and fun and festive. On the back, I added a pattern paper, some photos, journaling. Gotta have my photos, right? Between all of the fun foundation pages. For this one, I die cut a ring from thick white cardstock, and then I had tons of fun just wrapping a rainbow of threads around and around. I backed the open space with a photo, and then on the back side, these pages are featuring the Pink Christmas Digital Collection. So this is a pattern paper from that collection, as well as the sentiment and another cut file that I designed. So it's round. No pictures on these pages. They're just kind of fun, artsy pages in between. And then we've got the gold trim. We stayed at the Gaylord Rockies Hotel again. We did this last year, and I think it might be an annual tradition. So I made round photos at home, did them back to back, and then created collages in Picasa because I took way too many pictures here at the hotel. And you know, as you can, my album is already 3 inches thick when closed. So if I wanted to include all the pictures, I had to think of a creative way, and collages did that. So I was able to fit all of these pictures in this flip up, and then added another jingle bell on the side. Here is a paper rosette. This is the Mittens and Mistletoe crepe paper collection, and I scored every 1/8 inch. So it was super fiddly to fold these accordion style, but that way it's not as thick. It's like the thinnest I could make them because, like I said, this album is already very chonky. It's a chonkster. So 1/8, folded them up accordion style, and then pressed them into this rosette shape, topped with a little candy cane striped button in the center. On the back side, I've got photos. We made gingerbread houses, so I added some gingerbread embellishments. This foundation page, I trimmed the mint cardstock, punched stars from an older crepe paper Christmas collection, and then machine stitched around and around. Then I topped it with almost an entire package of these enamel shape stickers from the Mittens and Mistletoe collection. I've got red rickrack, which is fun because once it's stitched in place, it looks like scallops. And then another little jingle bell. Oh, the middle was empty, so I was able to add a 2-inch square photo to the center of this wreath. On the back side, I used Picasa again to create a collage. I was able to go to the kids' bake sale for lunch one day in December, and then the last day before Christmas break, they had their Christmas parties, so I popped in. So I've got photos from all of those fun visits. On this page, I used 3 sizes of heart punches to make folded flower petals. I've got large flowers and then medium flowers, and then between the smallest heart. Added an enamel dot, stitched around along with ribbon, and it's just a fun artistic page. On the back side, photos, snowflake stickers. We went to the mall, which is always fun to see it all dressed up for the holidays. On this page, I made all of the names of the reindeer with different alphabet stickers that I have in my stash, and then to help them stay in place permanently, machine stitched across them. This cute reindeer sticker and peppermint stickers, I think I got them at Target a few years ago. In the greeting card section, they've also got stickers, so check it out there. The pink reindeer is from the Pink Christmas collection from Kelly Banks Creative. On the back side, this is Chris's Christmas present. I did a cameo from Will Pug, the lead singer of our favorite band, Cartel. So on Christmas morning, he opened this framed QR code, and it brought up Will on our TV singing our favorite song, an acoustic version of Conduit. So that was really fun. Here's another cut file that I designed just for this album. It's a Christmas tree, so I cut it out of the snowflakes paper, fringed pattern paper strips, and then put the cut file on top, and then machine stitched around the edges to also attach the rickrack and some more jingle bells. On the back side, this is our Christmas Eve, so it's actually not in chronological order, and that's okay. I don't mind. So I have Christmas Eve, but then I go back in time to Christmas Adam. I didn't realize it until it was a little too late because I figured out which pictures I want where with which foundation pages, but anyway, smattering of photos. And then I used Joka Marco. She has a shop called A Pocket Full of Happiness. So many amazing, beautiful dies. I even have a few collaborations with her, so she's turned some of my cut files into metal dies. So I cut these poinsettias and berries from cardstock from my stash, glued them into this wreath, didn't trim the excess, so it's got some of the flower petals hanging off the edges, and then added a colorful sentiment in the center. Stitched some funky light pink trim around the edge of this one. On the back, I used a round, a circle punch to punch 5 photos, as well as a journaling spot, and then just added them onto the back. And then here I made a shaker pocket, so I used a snowflake punch with 2 of my Go the Scenic Route papers, glued a few of them onto a white cardstock circle, and then covered it with a transparency, started stitching, poured in the rest of the sequin or the snowflakes, and then poured in some like snow and glitter, and then finished stitching it closed, and then stitched it onto this pink paper along with the trim. So lots and lots of layers on this one. And these stickers are from Photo Play paper last year. On the back side, so this was our Christmas Adam, which we call Christmas Eve. We have a virtual dinner with my side of the family. So I took a picture of that. And then, I'm noticing a sticker is in the wrong place here. It should go right here. So I'll need to go back and use liquid glue to attach these stickers in place. So here's another quilt-like page. I punched squares, 1-inch squares from the Snow and Cocoa collection by Crate Paper, which is a few years old, and then did a zigzag stitch in between, down and across between them all to create this quilt-like page, and then used these mini alphabet stickers to say Christmas Adam Tradition. Ribbon, paper clip with a little jingle bell, and that is that page. On the back side, I covered it with green floral paper. These are some of the homemade meals that we got to eat around Christmas time. I used my snowflake wreath cut file, which is in the bundle, cut it from white cardstock, layered it over a pink snowflake page, and then added all of these super cute tiny puffy stickers from Mittens and Mistletoe. The center was empty, so I was able to add a 2 by 3 inch photo. This is Jane, Christmas morning. She had both kitties on the bed with her. Called her a lucky duck. On the back side, this is Christmas morning. So the Evans families came over and we opened presents. So it's a 6 by 4 photo, rounded the edges, and I did machine stitch and it got through some of their faces. Yeah, my bad. On this page, this was our Christmas morning, so it's got little flip-ups that are held in place with washi tape with presents on top. And then I stitched gold rickrack around the edge. It's supposed to look like a present, so I added this red gingham ribbon down the middle, across the middle, with a little bow on top, like a present. And then the last spread I just left empty. It's a nice way to close out the album. Woo! Oh, hold on. I want to see it closed. You can see all the texture and the way it sounds. And I just had so much fun creating this album. And guess what, friends? This year for 2023, I'm going to use my own Christmas collection with American Crafts. It's almost finished. I think it releases this summer, and it will include a 6 by 8 album. So I will have a class. We'll make some foundation pages, and then we'll have our December daily album ready to go. So stay tuned for all the info about that. Let me know if you have any questions about my album for 2022, and I hope you have a wonderful year. Thanks so much.